Welcome back to another episode of NYC Crime Spot. We have the man, the myth, the legend. He's been missing for a little bit, but he's back. Pete the Pick LaFrosia. Episode 4, The Pick. That's what we call this thing, Pete. The Pick.
4,
How's that?
That's good for me.
Is that you?
Yeah, I want to make it to like 12, 15, 16 and still be around.
Okay. Yes, you will. And remind everybody how old you are at this point, Pete.
Oh, yeah. This is the kind of card you get for your birthday when you reach that age. Can everybody see that?
Oh,
you know
a dinosaur. That's you, the dinosaur. Yeah.
I'm a dinosaur my age, but I'm also a dinosaur, they said, because of who you are and the things you did and never became a rat.
Hey, that's interesting. I wanted to ask you about that, Pete.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. Happy birthday to the
That's dinosaur. You, dinosaur. Pete was around when the Big Bang happened, the Pangea, whatever you want to call it. No, yeah, Pangea or something. But that's interesting that you brought that up, Pete, because I would say 99.8% of the individuals who were involved in that, what they call the life, that are on YouTube are. No, I don't care because I wasn't in the life. I don't pretend. There's people who like to pretend and they get mad. Oh, these rats. But, they're just regular people. They go to work every day. They never did an illegal thing in their life, but they're so against it. But, I'm a civilian. I'm a regular guy, Pete. What is your opinion on that? Do you have an opinion on people who cooperated, who are on YouTube talking about that life? And I did this, I did that.
Here's how I feel. Let me start off with a general statement. If you live next door to me, right, and you have a wife and kids, and I have a wife and kids, and you're, say, selling illegal perfume, and so am I, right? So you get pinched, right? So you don't want to go to jail. You don't want to leave your wife and kids. So you tell me, my wife and kids. Now, if you're a citizen, like I call them, right, guy gets up, goes to work, 9 to 5, comes home, takes care of his family, don't do nothing wrong, takes the kids out for baseball games and shit like that. And you see something wrong, and he tells, God bless him. I consider that normal. You know what I mean? He's not doing nothing stupid. He's doing what he was brought up to do. Tell the truth. Seen something bad, he tells. He's not in the life, so that's what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? Protect his family, protect the environment, and all that shit. Now, The other guy that's selling the same thing that I'm selling gets pinched, and he rats me out, so he don't have to go to jail. And that guy, he's not a good guy. He shouldn't. Just like some of these old timers, they say, I'm going to use Sammy for a minute. He was all of that and all of this, and he had a position and a half. You know what I mean? He really got up there. And my thing is, okay, they said John was going to flip on you. Fine. But you could sit there with him until the last friggin' minute to find out if it's true. And then
he said that, Pete. Let's be clear. He said that. He said that John was going to tell him. He said, according to Sammy, he claims that John told him, listen, Sammy, you got to take the fall. You got to take all the blame for this. They need me on the streets. Now, we don't know if that's true or not.
No. Okay, but here I am. I'm Sammy, right? I'm the underboss. I got a very prestigious spot in this thing of ours, right? And I'm sitting at the table with John, right? And we're on trial there. It comes down to the last half hour, 20 minutes of the trial, right? I tell my lawyer I want to call a recess at timeout. I walk from behind at the defendant's table. I walk to the back. I talk to the prosecutor, tell him, listen, I'm turning because I see it now in black and white. He's going to do me in. But he never saw that. He never gave John a chance to do that. He just decided, I ain't doing this shit. Of course, you know what I mean? He had a lot going for him. He had a couple of businesses that he took, and I mean took, because most of those people disappeared. You know what I mean? Good guys too, And if it's such a thing of honor and respect, how do you do that? At the last second you could change it. If they wanted John, they would have gave you anything you wanted. John's throwing me under. I see it and I hear it with my own eyes. Okay, stop this shit. I'm going right.
Right.
Not that I think that's right. Don't get me wrong, but at least wait till that if you're supposed to be who you are.
Right. Yeah.
Let him run out.
One of the guys that Sammy made disappear, who was a wealthy man who had a lot of businesses, was an old, I don't know, this doesn't often get mentioned, but an old partner of your buddy Roy's, Robert DiBernardo. They were partners in Show World and other illicit adult industry, materials, entertainment. They were spotted together on more than one occasion, hanging out at the show world, meeting. You know, the feds were seeing him over there. Do you recall that individual? Do you remember him?
I've seen him, never really talked to him, but I knew who he was. I knew he was in that entertainment business with Roy, and you know, it just wasn't my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of hands in that. I mean,
yeah, it gets stupid. You go from adult pornography, next thing you know, you're doing kids and
yeah. Hey, we're gonna get in trouble. You can't talk about that.
See the money. Oh, I can make twice as much money. Oh yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, and that was said about DiBernardo as well. But we don't have to go down that path. YouTube doesn't like that stuff. So I wanted to talk about a few things today. I wanted to speak to you, Pete, about some individuals. I wanted to watch some video with you. I have some stuff I put together that I want you to watch. You know what? Maybe we'll just get to that. A couple of minutes we'll watch some of these videos, and then you know we'll get some commentary from you as far as these videos go. So I'm gonna add them to the screen. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully soon that we'll be able to get the audience to ask us.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
So who's that? That's Roy to the right. Who's that to the left? You know that guy, right?
It's hard to see. That's where it's like oh my God,
that's Cousin Joe.
Oh yeah, that's Dracula. Yeah. Like, yeah. It's dark.
That out there, man.
So there's Henry, of course, there.
Yeah, Depraved. That's Machiavelli. That was his nickname. Look at Joe. Oh no, it's Henry. Sorry.
Henry, yeah, Henry.
Henry.
His meat squeezes in now.
They should hire you for candid cameras,
It's JT, ain't it?
That's Joey.
Yeah, JT. Look good, Joe. Having a barbecue, eh? Nice. I was waiting for one slice of turkey on tinfoil. Hey, there's the guy himself. Hey, Rooster.
This guy's nuts.
This is Roy Zucker. We are now going to have a dabbin and
this is Roy Zucker that he built there for this for the circumcision later. We're going to have over here.
So Freddie's filming. He's making a Jewish joke. Obviously, you grew up in Brooklyn, Pete. You know what a sukkah is, of course. The Hasidics, they make the house for the holiday sukkah. And he's saying that this is Roy's sukkah. And he says there's going to be a circumcision later.
Sukkah later.
We're going to have a
Bridge.
I'll take it down. If you sell fish, you run the side.
If anybody knows how to circumcise anybody, it's Roy.
My cousin Joe, he looks good on TV. I guess he take my cousin Joe, please.
His agent. Zero.
Women in their bikinis.
Let me tell you something about Freddie and his Jewish jokes. I'll tell you the type of guy. He used to drive a van, right? And he used to go down to their neighborhood, whatever you want to call it, right? And they'd be waiting on a bus stop, you know, all dressed up in long black jackets and big fur hats, you know.
Yep.
He has bleach or something in his windshield wipers, right? So we would pull up alongside him and hit that thing, and next thing you know, you see all white spots all over them. That's the type of guy he was when it came to that shit.
Really?
I said, you know, I don't care what you say, Freddie, but I only believe there's one God for everybody. Now, what you want to call him, that's up to you. When it comes down to push comes to shove, I believe it's just one guy. And you shouldn't be doing that. That's not nice. He says, fuck it. I says, you know, okay. Go ahead. Fuck it.
That's funny that you say that, because actually, I mean, somebody who you don't like very much, Vito Arena, actually said that in court, but he didn't say the Jewish. He was saying that he would throw like bleach at like black people or something, and like
yeah, Tom Selleck, I hear you.
Tom Selleck, yeah.
That's who's gonna play me. Yes.
Yeah. Tom Selleck himself.
Yeah, I think we had to take a 15-minute break for you. Stuff laughing.
That's it. Terry's got a few.
All right. So what do you think of that? So for a lot of people like me or, other people that watch that stuff, they find it interesting because, I mean, I hate to say it this way, but, the common joke that you see online, it's like just a bunch of serial killers having a nice barbecue. Isn't that nice? That's a common trope, a common joke, but we don't have to, you don't have to comment on that if you don't want to. But what do you think about that? Seeing your buddies like that?
Like everybody's seen The Godfather, They seen how they used to have their things, they meet, they had their dinners and shit, Probably at that time they did serial killers and shit, But they gotta remember, there's your family and there's that family. In your heart, if you believe in what you're doing, that's your family. You understand? They come before everything. When you take that piece of that picture that, saint in your hands and you burn it and you do all crazy. Nothing comes before them. Us, then your family, okay?
Right.
So when I see something like that, yeah. Now, because they can be more relaxed around each other. That's where you have that barbecue. You ain't gotta watch your P's and your Q's because everybody there is who they are. So you can bullshit, you can laugh, you can make stupid jokes. You can't bring that kind of entertainment to a regular household. You understand what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
you can't I can't come to your house with your family there. You invite me and them guys, and they got to be very, very on their toes not to insult you or your family. But over there, totally relaxed.
Yeah.
They can kibitz is the word, right? About anything they want, whether it's an ear gun or a nose gun, a toe gun. It doesn't phase anybody because that's that. It doesn't. They don't have to hold back. They can get around however they want because they are who they are. They all know who they are. So
right.
And as far as the serial killer thing is, I gotta say that came up in the modern times because it might have been in back then, but you never heard of it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's Well, that's another thing. When people, former gangsters or whoever it is on YouTube or people who have commented on the years. Now, they say, Roy's reputation, which is plausible, Pete. I mean, maybe people heard something, they wanted to stay away from him and stuff like that. But they make it seem like back then, like, oh, everybody knew what they were doing. They were chopping up bodies. Everybody knew what was going on. They were killing all these people. And when I hear that, I think like, all right, if everybody actually did know, don't you think like people would have been brought down a little sooner? Like things would have progressed more quickly. You know what I'm saying, Pete? Like when you hear Sammy the
Oh
Bull,
yeah,
like, oh yeah, we all know. Yeah, we knew what they were doing. We knew everything. Yeah, we know this, we know that. Not to mention, Pete, and you don't have to comment on this, but it's a fact that most of what Roy was doing was under the table shit. It's not like Paul knew about all this stuff with all these people missing. It was a lot of under the table stuff. I mean,
correct.
I know you know that. So
correct. And like you said, when you say a lot of people, they knew it. Okay. Now there's two factors there that I always believed in. One, they're either scared shit to do anything. All right. Or two, they believed in them in the neighborhood that nothing could happen to them because of these guys. They felt protected. And that goes back, you can look at The Godfather. Look at the beginning of these mob movies. There was always that one that, they didn't need to have lookouts and stuff for the neighborhoods. The neighborhood looked out. You have an old lady sitting in the window. She seen something that wasn't correct in the neighborhood. She'd call the old fucking, store. Hey, I just seen this guy pull up in this car looking around everything. It was like the best alarm system they could have had.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because they feared them, because they were there for them at times too. That's the truth. Now, fear does strange things. You may want to be Joe Blow, but you think about it. You say, well, I got a wife and kids too. What am I gonna step forward and be stupid? What if they don't convict them or they don't get them? I'm the next guy on the chop block. I'm a hamburger or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said, even that movie was at the Bronx there. He asked him, "Would you rather be feared or loved?" He said, "Feared." What I mean? And he was still loved in the neighborhood by a lot of people. That guy, and with the way they played it, anyhow. And I believe that's true. Especially back then. Today, I'm not sure about anything today.
So you think Roy was loved by people outside the inner crew?
That's a good question. Now I'm gonna put that loved, or let's change love. There's all kinds of love. Love for your mother.
Right.
He might have been. He might have not so much as love that they would want to cuddle up to him, but loved in certain things they did. You got to remember, they never knew everything. What that was, they may have heard something, but the reason might have been totally different. That this guy did this to this kid, or what I mean. So a lot of that stuff was to them it was okay. It was a license.
Right.
I can't do it. And a lot of people say, I'd like to kill that pedophile. But they won't because it's not who they are.
Right.
Then along comes it's a Lancelot, we'll call him right now. No matter what he did, if he took care of that situation, wow, he's a great guy. He took care of something that cops weren't doing nothing. It's like a given. They're gonna say, wow. Now love, like I said, I ain't they inviting him for Sunday dinner, that's for sure. Out of love, but maybe it was like kind of like knowing that there's somebody that how can I say, somebody that's here on earth that's going to take care of stupid shit like that the cops can't do.
Right.
So they probably put that on a higher level, you know what I mean, than what he is, because they really never knew. Now, I don't believe that many people knew who he was. A lot of people may have assumed or heard from other, past line, sitting on a bench, Roy killed the guy last week. By the time I got to the end, 17 guys got killed by Roy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, they don't see it, so it's a hard time believing it. But if they see something like, a pedophile disappeared in the neighborhood or a pervert or something, they see that. They say, wow, he's gone.
Like
Roy.
Mikey Muscles.
Yeah, I love Roy for that, they say. I love him for that. They didn't say they love him, but they love him for that. So
I say Mikey Muscles, I haven't seen him in a while. Oh, well.
Yeah, imagine that.
You knew him, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you a story about Mikey Muscles. Him and Charlie Comanche used to run together. I don't know if anybody knows him. And
hold on a second. Who did you say?
Charles Clemenza was his running partner. His father was Charles Sr., right? Correct. And I'm sure you know his last name by now, who he is.
Well, can I give background to who he is, Pete, before you go?
Well, that's on you. I can't stop you doing that. You're a freelancer.
No. I just want people to know who he is because he's tied into an infamous story.
Well,
Clemenza, the father, Charles, was a Colombo Profaci guy. He owned the Sahara Club. Of course, that's the site where Larry Gallo gets choked out in 1961. They took inspiration for The Godfather. So that guy owned the Sahara Club, Charles Clemenza. And you're saying that his son, Charles Jr., was partners with Mikey Muscles, correct?
Yeah. Shit.
Okay.
Shit.
So let's hear it. Let's hear about it, Pete. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to give back.
No. I'm glad you brought that out so these people understand what I'm going to say next,
Sure,
So, he, I don't know what happened, but he calls me up and he tells me, ba, 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 ba. I tell him, listen, I don't care who you are. I don't know what the fuck you want, but you just back off, man. Well, we don't. I said, I don't care what you think, this is what I'm telling you. Calls back, and next thing he's telling me, I'm sitting there, my wife and my kid, we're in the living room, and listen on the phone. And he's telling me, I'm going to come there to beat your wife down, piss on your kid and stuff. And I'm listening to him. And my wife says, where you going? I walked into my workshop. I got my scubetta, which is a gun, right? Tucked it in, got on my motorcycle. And guess where they were? They were at Harvey's house.
Really?
Yeah, in his apartment house in Burger Beach. So now I know they're there, right? So I said, fuck this. I said, you're going to threaten my kid and my wife? Are you fucking kidding me? You might as well just put a gun in my head. I climb up the fire escape. I get in the window, right? And they weren't there because as they were there, they weren't going to be there no more. How dare you do that? So, it got to the point where I spoke to somebody. I said, listen, go to his father. Go to his father. If it does. I went to his father, knocked on the door, and I didn't know the guy. And I told him, right? She said, how can I help you? And I explained to him who I was affiliated with at the time. He said, what's the problem? I said, listen, Mr. Clemenza, your son is running with a fucking total nut job. You know what I mean? He's completely out of line. They don't care what they do in this neighborhood. And it's getting to the point where something's going to happen serious. But I'm not going to concern myself with that. I'm going to concern myself with what happened with me. And I told him the story. He says, you're kidding me. I said, Mr. Clemenza, you could check anybody. I don't bullshit like that. There's no reason in the world for me to come to your house not knowing you and telling you something like that. So he calls his son in and he said, Charlie, I'm going to ask you one time. And Charlie was a big kid, man. He was about 6'3", about 300 pounds. Big kid.
Wow.
I'm going to ask you one time. I seen him shaking. He had a fear of his father. Shaking. He says, what, Dad? He says, did you threaten this man's kids and his wife? He says, I'm going to tell you now. You better think before you answer me. Because I believe what I just heard. So Charlie says, I was with, he says, I don't care who you with, that idiot. He says, that idiot made you do that? He said, you better apologize right fucking now. And if I ever hear of anything, I don't care if this kid guy gets struck by lightning, I'm going to make sure you pay for it.
Wow.
And then after that, I went to school with this kid. He was a nut job.
Mikey Muscles.
Charlie Clemenza. He was a nut job too.
Clemenza. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you knew that, well, I 2 nut jobs, I guess, because he teamed up with Mikey Muscles.
What a mistake in life he made. Especially as good as his father was, that he would want that kind of repertoire following him, you know what I mean? His father would have did anything for him. You know?
Yeah.
He passed away, had a heart attack at a young age, so Charlie, so please catch up to you.
Yeah.
Charlie had a heart attack, and the other rumor I heard was Mikey did something. He really lost his head from what I hear.
Yeah, that's what we hear.
That's who he is.
You know, he's quite the polarizing character, Pete, you know, because I got a hold of some police files from a friend a couple of years ago. And the files were talking about underage children rings. Okay.
Yep.
And my friend had these files from something that had nothing to do with Roy DeMeo, and he said, "Hey, look at these. Let me see if you know any names here or whatever." I noticed a couple, and then one name pops up: Mikey Muscles.
Yeah.
And that list of, you know, underage stuff. And they also called him Mary. They referred to him as Mary Muscles for some reason. And they said, lives in Flatbush, does this kind of car, blah, blah, blah. So I thought that was really interesting to get some more insight from a detective that was just doing work, and his name had came up being involved in underage rings, if you know what I'm saying.
They would rob somebody. They would rob somebody, right? Tied them up. And while they were there, they I don't want to tell you what they did to their wife or their girlfriend. I mean,
they would assault them in a certain way, right?
That was. I just couldn't understand how he survived that long in the neighborhood. I mean, a normal guy would want to take him out, nobody else.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you shit's where you eat, and that kind of shit, you forget about it. You know.
Yeah. And I've also received emails from random people who grew up in Canarsie who tell me about this guy. Oh, he assaulted me at Kings Plaza Mall one day. He threw me on the floor. I had to get my sister's boyfriend was a cop to go after him, and just I have a couple of bizarre stories about him assaulting people randomly, beating up kids, and all types of weird stuff. But he met his demise, a just demise, I believe.
What I understand, but you got to remember something. That kid survived a lot of things. He was at a White Castle when my mother was working one night, right? And I drove up there, right, to pick my mom up from work, right? And I seen this guy get shot, right, almost point blank with a 38 in the head. And he dropped to the floor. I said, "Oh shit!" You know, I didn't really know who the hell he was at the time, right? And the bullet hit him in the head, ricocheted, went furrowed around his whole side of his head. It came out there, never entered his skull, never went through.
Wow.
And then I tell you, he did that. Now here's another story that I can't say it's fact, but he was running a card game, right? He was a doorman at a card game, right? And the game was going on, from what I understand. A couple of guys came in to borrow the money from the card guys who were playing, you know, take them down. And when he opened the door and he realized what was going on, he had supposedly a 45 on the shelf, and he went to get it. Before he got there, they shot him out how many times, and it fucking still lived. It was like, wow, that's, you know.
Unbelievable. So he had a lot of lives. He was cheating death, I guess, and ultimately it caught up to him because he.
Well, I hear the final chapter though was the end chapter. You know, he was like Sleepy Hollow.
He seemingly ran into guys that
didn't care. You know,
didn't make mistakes, I guess, when they wanted somebody. And I hate to laugh, but you know, I've heard some bizarre stories about him, and I can't say I feel bad.
And this is what I'm talking about. Now here's these guys that are supposed to be badass, and yet they do something like that. And what do you think the neighborhood feels? They feel more safe and more secure. These guys not running around no more. I mean, he lost his head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, now do I love Roy for that? I don't hate him for it. I really don't know what actually he does. I hear things. I don't see things because if I see them, I wouldn't be here talking to you. You know,
correct.
So I gotta go by what I'm hearing. And so they subtract that from that, and they come up with, we can't be all that bad. he takes people away that hurt children and shit like that. You know, it's hard to explain, Brett. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to think how.
No, listen, that's pretty easy to explain, Pete. I mean, when people hear the story, you know, the way they even hear it in Murder Machine, it's seemingly inaccurate portrayal, I believe, sounds pretty accurate from what I hear about him. I don't think anyone feels bad about something like that, Pete. I think that's maybe the one where people are like, oh, well, maybe that one was, you know, worth it, or whatever you want, however you want to put it.
You know, just saying, listen. If everybody believes in what they say about we were going after this one guy, I'm sure he gave birth to guys who's supposed to be like Mikey the Archangel, take care of some shit here on Earth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Who knows who's designated to that job? You know, I'm sure. I would say that, okay, if I was designated to be to get rid of as many pedophiles as I could or rapists, I'd love that job. I would go to work every day with a smile on my face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you know, what are you gonna do? So,
yeah, some would say it's a public service.
correct.
But you know, then there's the other thing where it's like, oh, you know, you're playing God. You know, you should let the authorities handle it, or you know, there's that whole thing too. Which
what I say is, I understand what you're saying, but here's how you gotta look at it. I ain't judging you. I'm just sending you to be judged sooner.
Yeah.
That's all.
Exactly.
No, I'm not saying this or that. You're just gonna go where you need to go right now.
Right. Hey, Pete, you know, that's a quote that you said to me once that I don't think I'll ever forget it. Somebody else mentioned to me, like, hey, when he said that, I mean, that was pretty wild. We don't judge people, but that doesn't mean we won't send them to be judged sooner. Is that something that you came up with, or did somebody you know?
That came from my heart. That's how I feel, Brett, you know?
Okay.
And because of the way I live, I'd never hurt nobody for money, personal gain, or because somebody's daughter got smacked in the mouth. If I did anything, it was for three reasons. One, I knew you were coming to hurt me, and that's what I was put on earth, for somebody to come and hurt me. You know, I'm gonna defend myself. Two, if you try to do anything to my family in any which way, that's another automatic. And three, like you, Brett, I consider you my friend now. If I thought somebody was gonna hurt you, more than likely, I would take care of it if I could, and not even tell you. Just knowing that you'll be all right walking safe because you're my friend. I chose you over my family. I chose you to be my family.
Right.
Other than that, I never hurt nobody in my life, Brett. I never did nothing for money. And there was so many times I was offered, you know, it just wasn't me. And I kind of believe that's why I'm still walking around at 75 with a dinosaur card on my chest. Other than that, you know.
Well, speaking of the family thing, I want to go back to Charles Clemenza Jr. and Mikey Muscles for a second. You go to Chris Rosenberg's house because you find out they're over there.
Yeah.
Let's say you do get in there and you sneak in and you take those guys out and Harvey's right there. But then what?
He'd run over and give me a kiss on the mouth, that kid. That Mikey, every time he seen Harvey, he would beat him down and take whatever he had on him.
Really?
Harvey lived in fear. I mean, it's terrible to live in fear, but he lived in fear from this guy.
It makes you wonder why he wasn't taken out sooner, because Harvey had Roy and
you know, shit. He was a hard guy to catch up to. I'm gonna tell you something. In the right time, in the right place. That was one of the problems. But Harvey, every time he seen that kid, he scared the hell out, put the fear of God in him. You know, and he knew he was doing it, Mikey. You know, so Chris would tell him whatever he needed to know, or give him whatever he asked him for. I don't understand. He said the same thing, Chris. But then when he got more affiliated with the Scubetas and stuff, and seeing how that worked, he became a little different. At that time, he wasn't when they were up at his apartment. He was just tagging cars, you know what I mean? He was making money, and they knew that. That's what it was. You know?
Right,
so
right. He wasn't molded yet, I guess you could say, right?
He didn't realize the power he held in his hand until that day came. Then he became a stupid son of a bitch, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but you I look at that, Pete, as that was always in him. I almost think that was always in him, because I don't know, or not. I don't know. I don't know how somebody could just seemingly be a normal person and or you know, normal to extent where, you know, you're stealing cars or whatever, you know, at any moment you could say, I'm done stealing cars, I'm gonna get a fucking city job, I'm tired of this shit. But you know what I'm saying? So I almost think some people, that's just in them to be a certain way. I don't know if you agree with that, but
I'm telling you, Like I said, when we were growing up, we were kids. I mean, he took abuse from a lot of people. You know what I mean? Even
Okay,
girls, abused him. You know what I mean? And he
that
didn't.
doesn't help. Yeah.
No, doesn't help at all. And and he was infatuated with the lifestyle.
There he is. 1969. Same
Now
as
you know
each
what?
other in high school.
Now you know why girls beat him up.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I
he
guess.
became very treacherous with women. I tell you what, he did some stupid shit with women.
Yeah.
I really was fucking downplayed on. I mean,
No, I mean,
I'm going to give you, for instance. All right, listen, he's
yeah,
gone.
sure.
God bless you. Enjoy your life. We're in a bar one night, right? And he's got his El Camino. So he comes, he tells me, "Hey, Pete, I got this chick." I says, "What do you want to do?" He says, "Come on, we're going to go over there and get, what we want." So we drive this girl to this place. I'm thinking, "Oh, wow, this is what this girl does." You know what I mean? So we get to this place, and he had a drunk or something on drugs, whatever the fuck it was. And she's refusing, right? I said, "Chris, drive it back. Man, I ain't down with this shit, man. I had a bad experience when I was young, and I never forgave myself for that. And I ain't about to be part of one now." And he said, "Bye, bye, bye." And I said, "You know what, Chris? I'm going to start walking back. You pick me up on the way back, whatever you can do." Well, anyhow, he gave this girl a beating. She had it locked in her mouth. And he's screaming, "Help me. What the fuck am I going to do? If I punch you, she'll bite you off, you stupid fuck."
Yeah.
Finally, I told him, "Squeeze her nose. She can't breathe. She can open her mouth. Trust me." Wind up went back to the bar, right? Now, this is pretty far away. I had me about a mile and a half away, right? We're in the bar, hanging out, I'm drinking. And who comes stumbling in? This fucking girl, man. Screaming, telling everybody what he did. I said, "Oh, shit."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I could see it. I mean, it's like the oldest tale in the book, right? People that get bullied in high school, and sometimes they turn out to be good people. They make it through, and sometimes they get mad at the world and they spend the rest of their lives getting revenge. It's a common theme with some serial killers and stuff like that.
Correct. I agree with you. Their brain gets twisted when they're young, and it never gets twisted back the right way. And I had a bad thing I told him, you know what I mean? And I told him, I don't do that shit. I told him one time, "Listen, back in my day, right? They had these like street gangs, right? My neighbor was the Evan Dukes, and I became a junior Duke because we were younger than them guys, right? The older guys. So one day we're hanging out, and there's this girl. She dropped dead gorgeous. Okay, let me put it this way. All right, and like the guy that was the senior Duke and his friend there, we picked him up and he picks me up. He says, "Come on, Pete." And they go down by the Liberation Bridge, right? And when you went down under the bridge, right, where the back part, where the ground, where it started going, it was like a cave in there, right? So we're sitting out there, right? Boom. And I smoking a little weed and shit, and I'm sitting there, right? And they say, "Pete, you watch out. We're going to go inside with her for a while," right? So they went inside. And after a while, I heard this girl screaming, "Please help me," And I didn't do nothing. I sat there. And I swear to God, right to this day, I never forgave myself.
Yeah.
I never did. And I got such a hatred for those people. I do.
Yeah.
And I ain't ashamed to say it. It's just like I said, it was a bad experience. And every time I seen this girl, she said, "It's not your fault." And I just couldn't say nothing. I just couldn't think of what to
No,
say.
hey, listen, I mean, you were a young guy. I mean, we hear that all the time with these things happen in colleges and
Bad.
these young kids that are there. They want to say something, and whether it's peer pressure or they're going to
I'm
get
so
beat
ashamed
up.
of myself.
Yeah, it's shameful. Yeah, I mean, I can't
And
even imagine.
then after that, I just quit that whole thing. I told the guy, I says, "Listen, man, I don't want no part of you and your fucking gang because you ain't no real gang. You ain't shit."
Yeah.
What are you saying? I said, "You heard me, man." I said, "I'm not going to mention no names, but that was that." I told him, "Listen, that's not what I believe, man. Listen, there's so many women out there that if you really need it that bad, put a few dollars in their pocket. You know what they do for a living. Why do you have to do something to a woman that don't want that to happen to them?" That's forget it, man.
Yeah, to me, I mean, that's on the, that's like with the Mikey Muscle stuff, like with the kids and stuff. You're taking advantage of vulnerable people, You're a big guy, and you got the skinny girl. I mean, you're just taking advantage of somebody that's vulnerable, weaker than you.
And forcing somebody to do something like that, you destroy them for the rest of their lives. They become in fear of every other man they meet just about after that. I mean,
yeah,
it's sad. And right now as I'm talking about you, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing the call, and I say, "Fucking man, that's gonna be with me for the rest of my life." Because I was maybe 16. What am I, 75 years?
Yeah, listen, that's
and I still to this day I can hear a poem.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And I just So whenever that opportunity comes, I see something like that, I don't give a shit. I run right in. You know what I mean? I don't. I'm trying to make up for something I can't change. You know, but what are you gonna do?
No, I hear you.
Everybody's got their own stupid ways. You know, thinking they can be together. But she always said, "It's not your fault. It's not your fault, Pete." I says something. I could have said something. You know, screamed in there. I said, let it go. You know, nothing.
Right.
I just cowered down. You know, and said. But anyhow, life is life.
Yeah.
They made a better man. They made a better man than me from that because now
people out there.
Now I don't hesitate. You know, back then, even now, I would. If that didn't happen to me, I probably wouldn't get involved. But if I see something like that again, I don't care. Whip my ass, shoot me, whatever the fuck you gonna do. But I'm gonna try to stop it. And that's just how I feel about it now. You know, no, my mother said, "Don't ever get involved in that." I said, "Ma," she says, "You make sure what's going on. You make sure that something forceful is going on. Because if you get between a guy and a girl, when it's all over, guess what? You're gonna be shit. They're gonna both hate you. But if you say it like you told me, my mother's a smart woman. You tell me what you see, and that's what's really happening, then you go right ahead. You know, whatever you got to do, you do, Pete."
Right. Yeah, at the very least, you're trying to do the right thing, right?
Right.
So, Pete, I wanted to talk about a couple of individuals. These guys are very different guys, people that we haven't spoken about. Pete, have you ever seen the movie Taxi Driver?
Sure, Robert De Niro.
Yeah, Robert De Niro. So this is an image from that movie. This is Robert De Niro. Now, to Robert De Niro's right is a guy by the name of Stephen Prince. He was a friend of Martin Scorsese's. He later made a documentary about his life or whatever. But he plays this character in this movie called Easy Andy. And Easy Andy is a guy who sells guns, sells silencers for guns.
No.
And he's got a good nickname, Easy Andy. That's, Martin Scorsese. He grew up on Mulberry. So, he's very smart, intuitive as far as like coming up with good nicknames and kind of being on the periphery of that life growing up on Mulberry. So Easy Andy is the guy who sells the guns. Now, there was another guy who had a great nickname, a guy by the name of Fast Eddie. And Fast Eddie's job was Easy Andy's job. Silencers, gun making, whatever it may be. Do you remember this guy, Pete?
Not only do I remember him, I really like that guy. I hate to say it, but I like that guy. You know what I mean? That guy was a wizard of all trades. You know what I mean? He used to tell me all the time. He says, I could smoke these Cuban cigars and drink Dom Perignon all day long. I says, Eddie. But anyhow, he was in a different business altogether. He was in that H business, but he was
I heard that as well. Yeah,
very knowledgeable about everything else. I mean, this guy could get things made that you couldn't even think of. I'm not talking about gun wise. I'm talking about things that would help you sell stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you say you passed away. But let me tell you something. One night he calls me up, right? And he said, Pete, could you come and help me move some stuff? I said, sure, Eddie. So I drive to his house, right? He puts a box in my trunk and he puts the box in my trunk. He says, follow me. So I follow him. He brings me to like this little warehouse, right? He opens the door, right? Comes over, gets the box, puts it in the warehouse. And he says, I'll see you later. Thanks a lot, Pete. Me guesses. Okay, what's the big deal? The next day I'm at work, right? And my wife calls me up. She says, Pete, Eddie came by. I said, so? What'd he say? He didn't say nothing. He left the shopping bag here. Now, I know she looked at it, the son of a bitch, because she's a nosy little shit. She said, I don't know what's in it. I don't know. Yeah. I said, all right, just put it away. I come home, right? It's full of money, man.
Really?
5s, 10s, shit. He says, I forgot how much it was. A lot of money, though. I said, Eddie, what's this for? He says, don't worry about it. That's all my shit money. I said, I got to get rid of it. So I said, what are you talking about, Eddie? He says, yeah, you helped me move a lot of things to my warehouse last night. What things? He said, I didn't want to tell you, so what should I tell you now? But you did me a favor. I said, okay. I said, you do a favor like that again, call me quick. I'm telling you, it must have been 30, 40 grand in there, man.
Really? Wow. So he hit you off with 30, 40 grand. And what was that? Was that H or was that like equipment, guns, silencer?
No, his thing is H. Okay. That motherfucker had the money. Let me tell you something. He used to tell me stories that the product that they were working with, they had to cut it 25 times to just put it on the street. So you figure if you're paying like back then maybe 120 for a kilo, I mean that was going price back then. H, cut that 25 times. I'm telling you. Otherwise, you would kill people.
Right.
He used to tell me, I used to fuck around and dabble with cocaine back then, selling it and there and there. He said, listen, what are you still stupid for? This is how naive I was. He says, you're selling that shit. He says, get yourself a couple of good black guys, honest guys, and then work for you. I says, they'll make you rich. He said, what do I got to do, Eddie? He says, you got to do. I said, Eddie, that's dope, man. Like cocaine wasn't dope, in my mind. That was dope. That was bad shit. I say, he said, you're being stupid. You got to sell 10 to 12 of yours to one of mine.
Wow. Yeah.
I said, wow. But, I believed in my heart when they said dope, heroin, it was really bad shit, Back then, all the lawyers and doctors and high professional people were buying the white shit.
Yeah.
The kids couldn't afford it, $2,000 for an ounce.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I said to myself, what the fuck, man? And he wasn't kidding when he said, I could drink Dom Perignon all day long and smoke these Cuban cigars. I'd like that. Don't get me wrong. I really like that guy. I mean, I never knew what he did, but I'm telling you, that guy was smart. I mean, when it came to putting things together, oh my God.
Now, what was with the guns though? Was he fashioning them himself? Was he making those silencers himself? Because that's the idea that I get, that he was like.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be straight out, man. Eddie.
I mean, if you don't want to get too into it, Pete.
Oh, I'm not gonna. I'm just saying. Look, he had a machine shop down in his basement, right?
Machine shop. So, okay, wow.
Right. So he met a couple of mercenaries, and they gave him some real deal shit. So what did Eddie do? He took it apart, put it back together, and as he took it apart, he made it apart. So he was good.
Reverse engineering.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He was very good at what he did.
Interesting.
I tried it one time. I had this guy do it the same way. The guy, after the second time I went back to him, he said, listen, I know what you're doing, man. That ain't no bullshit mufflers for go-karts. He said, get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
But Eddie was the guy. He was the lick. I mean, if you needed something, really, he was like the guy from The Great Escape. What was his name? Played him, James Gardner. He can get anything you wanted. He was the guy. That was Eddie. Yeah. You needed something, you couldn't figure out where to get it. That's son of a bitch could get it. Give him a day.
Interesting.
Give him a day.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting guy. Yeah. Someone that doesn't get spoken about.
And I never seen him hurt nobody. Often. He never went on any of those things. Never. He didn't have to.
Yeah.
They didn't want to expose him to that, first of all, because God forbid that's the best contact they had for anything like that.
Right.
So you want to put something over here with, God forbid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, Eddie, wherever you are,
yeah.
I love you, buddy. I ain't ashamed to say it. I know you never heard nobody.
Yeah, I believe he passed. Yeah.
And I used to tell him, Brett, we're on trial now, right? And I couldn't go nowhere because I was brought in. I was still on federal prison, so I couldn't make bail. I couldn't do nothing, you know what I mean? I stayed there. And Eddie used to be sitting alongside me, right? I said, Eddie, what the fuck are you doing here? Get the fuck all your money. Get the fuck out of here, man. When it's over, wait a couple years, call him up, they'll make you a deal. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. This fucking guy during recess goes out of the courtroom, right? Goes in the hallway, right? Makes a phone call. Makes a heroin deal in Jersey. And they're tapping fine, right? All of a sudden, we're sitting in the courtroom and an army of fucking DEA agents, she come running in and says, uh-oh. And now this judge had a problem with his daughter and that kind of stuff. You understand, right? So when they told the judge what was going on. Next thing you do, he said, Mr. Rendini, stand up. I said, fuck, Eddie. Eddie's taking his wallet, his keys, he's throwing them over to his wife. He said, you are now remanded. How dare you? How dare you, I tell you, make a drug deal in my courthouse on trial with me. They remanded him. So I used to have to go back to MCC every night. About a half hour later, when I'm sitting down and here he comes in his orange jumpsuit. I says, now what, stupid? You could have been in there anywhere you wanted with your money. I go, look at Dennis. The kid Dennis. He ran away. He come back. They wiped it out. They gave him 2 years probation. He was on trial. He should have been on trial. And he left.
You're talking about Dennis Testa.
Yeah. He was smart. He was pretty smart doing that.
Yeah. Someone that doesn't really get spoken about, but I prefer not you to speak about him.
Me too. Yeah. You know what?
Yeah. So Edward Fast Eddie Rendini. We'll look at him again for anyone that doesn't know.
Eddie baby.
Eddie Rendini. There he is. Now
you know that's crazy. Show the picture again for me.
Yeah, that's later. That might be into the late 90s
I want to see a picture.
Early 2000s.
Now you know that's not true. That's a farce when you show a silencer on a pistol.
Oh yeah, that's just a bullshit thing,
Yeah, the only way they do that is you have a boot always over the cylinder. And it's still fucking noisy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyhow.
All right. So let's get to another guy. Now,
All right.
this is an interesting guy who is. If you don't want to talk about this guy, just say pass. This is an interesting guy who's out there somewhere. He was in the news a while back, years back, saying, "No, I don't want nothing to do with that anymore. I'm living my life, this and that." He's the guy who was he became Roy DeMeo's driver at some point, and then he ended up with the Luchese family, and this gentleman right here,
Is that
Profeta, yeah, Carlo Profeta.
Yeah.
You could say pass, or we could talk about him.
I really don't know much about Carlos. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He stumbled around every now and then. Hello, how are you, George? He popped around a lot. You know what I mean? He was a pretty tough kid, guy, man. He probably still is. He didn't take no shit from nobody. You know what I mean? He actually didn't have fights. Fights where he got beat down and got up some fought.
Yeah. Okay. But you didn't have much with him.
No, just hello. Shake his hand.
Okay.
But,
all right.
yeah.
Interesting. All right. So that's good. All right. How about this?
2 out of 2 you got going here, buddy.
Yeah. We're doing all right. All right. And I think people are going to like this. How about this guy right here?
Frankie.
Big
Frank.
Serino. Big Frank Serino. Yep.
Look what I tell you about Big Frank. He was big, that's for sure. Big guy, 6'4", something like that. You know, I still don't know where the fuck he came from. But one day I walked in, and he was there. You know, not at the Gemini, at Archwise Collision.
Okay.
Apparently, he was friends with my other friends there. You know what I mean? They came up with some brilliant ideas. They worked, some of them didn't. But Frankie's a good lucky guy. You know what I mean? Girls, well, they had the magic bait, you know what I mean? That little on bag, they just put a bag white powder back then. Catch any fish that you want, especially them ones in the neighborhood. But some people say some things about him that I find it hard to believe but then again, I know in my heart that if that's what said you got to do, don't give a fuck. If it's your sister, your brother, you don't do it, you might as well just put the gun to your head or run away.
Yeah.
Because I heard some strange stories. I'm not sure if you would want to tell me because he was in love with them guys. Right? Not in love with that face.
No, I know what you're saying. When guys from the DeMeo crew went over to that side, Luchese's, it's a known. There's pictures of Anthony with Frank, from what I hear or whatever. Obviously, they were under him. I guess he was their capo, or he was in charge of them, or whatever you want to call it.
I really never knew that. You know what I mean? I didn't know what happened there, but whatever it was, I don't want to know because, like I said, I love those guys and they're always good to me. Whatever they say about them, that's what they say. Before I'm about to die, I'm gonna tell them all the truth. You know what I mean? I'll let you know. You'll know it's me because you'll read about me in the newspapers. Old man robs armored car, didn't make it.
Yeah, I did tell you something about Frank that he reportedly had to do something at the behest of Gaspipe, or as you like to call him, Crack Pipe.
That's what I like to call. That's what he was, man. I hate that fucking guy.
Crack Pipe Casso.
He put such a fear because he never knew what the fuck. You're a fucking underboss. You got my girl going to buy you shit while I'm in prison, you piece of shit. What's up with that, man? At any given time, you catch his illusion. I might be with her. You never know.
Yeah.
Frankie told me, I said, Frank, I got to tell him. He said, Pete, don't tell him nothing. I said, Frank, I got to talk to the guy. He said, Pete, you don't want to talk to him. I said, well, what am I supposed to do? Walk down the streets in fear? That, I'm walking with her or something. He gets a trip on his foot, whatever, something what he's doing, and it's all over. I said, so they were at a Chinese restaurant. I walk in, and my friends are there with Frankie, and they tell me, they're shaking their head. I said, listen, man. And I walked over there, sat down, and I asked him if I could sit down. He said, sure. I told him, he said, I know you are. You just came home, right? I said, yes, I did. He says, you're a good man. You didn't say nothing. I said, yeah. But I got to say something now. And I tried to figure out how to word it. I said, listen, I know that you have a special place in your heart and people go to the store for you and bring you back wonderful food, right? And they hang out and eat with you. I said, one of them girls happens to be somebody that I've been going with for a long time. I says, I'm sure there's a lot of other young ladies that would be more than glad to go to that store for you. You know, I would appreciate if you just, you know, tell her no more store for, you know what I mean? And he looked at me, he says, and he knew. And I'm looking at him, and I'm looking, he had such dead eyes, like he was saying, should I kill you right now? You know my secret. I'm going to tell everybody knows your fucking secret, you fuck, yeah?
Yeah.
All my friends know, you know what I mean? So how you got away with that?
So Casso was, I guess, having fun doing things, crack or whatever it was, with a girl that you knew for a very long time that you were close with.
Outstate, she had my baby now, and eventually,
really? Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you had a kid with this woman.
Yeah. And I said, not for nothing. Wow. Whatever she's going to the store for, please, just get somebody else. You know what I mean? Not like you can't. You know what I'm saying? You know. And the specialty was, I don't want to say this, but he had one specialty. He do one of them zing, zing, zings, and what he wanted to do was blow it on the booba. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Wait, what do you want to do?
But, yeah, take it on the booba. You know, the breastises, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
I says, this is the only was.
Wild guy. I mean, listen, that shit might have messed with his brain big time, you know, because.
Fuck. Well, you see what he did. He went wild and crazy at the end there. Thought he was building a kid out there.
Nuts.
And then what happened?
I feel like, you know, the guy did so many crazy things, and he was so powerful and so able to tell people to do all these things for him. It's almost like they forget that Vic was the boss.
Like the guy's like, sure. But look what he did at the end. Yeah. This is how it all fucking comes down to. He's on that HBO special, right? And he's crying. I mean, literally crying.
Right. 60 minutes, yeah. I think
they took the deal away because he forgot to tell him one thing. But they tell you 100 times, every time you sit down and talk to him, don't forget, you can't leave nothing out, because once you do, it's null and void. You understand? Yeah. Whatever our deal was, it's null and void. And he gave him a lot, and then he fucked up. And then I took away my deal for one fucking thing I missed. Fine. Yeah, I said, okay, you missed. How about fucking people that you did because you caused illusions that never would have did what you thought they were going to do?
Right.
Good people.
You know, when I watch that, Pete, and I've watched it numerous times because I find it really fascinating, because like he can't even pretend. You know, some people can pretend to have remorse. You know, I think it was Bradley who was interviewing him on 60 Minutes, and he said, you know, well, what about the families of the people you hurt? And he goes, I didn't know them. I don't know. I didn't know them. I didn't know the families. I mean, what kind of thing is that? I mean, and then he starts crying about his own family. So he can't even fake having remorse. No. He's so in his head, fucking sociopath or whatever you want to call it. Wild.
Hey, here's the same guy. All right, so you didn't know them. But what about the ones you did that you did know? You did know them. You did know their families, that you ate dinner with them. Yeah. You broke bread with them. Yeah. What the fuck? Is that a different people? Yeah. Right. You flipped your switch on that day. Right. Changed you. And I ain't saying, look, whatever he did, he got where he got, that's fine. But it's guys like him that made that whole thing fucking just go to shit. You know, him.
Yeah. Listen, no, you know, it's just, he was fucking killing guys that were around when he was in fucking diapers, you know. He was killing guys that had been around decades, you know, or when he was a little kid. I don't want to say diapers, but, you know, I think you know what I'm trying to say. It seems like no ethics, it seems like no code.
No, that's the whole thing. I'm going to tell you what I call it. Let's see the word I use for that. Okay, I'll think about it. They lost their integrity. They don't have no more integrity.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's gone. Yeah, honor, respect. Yeah. But where's your integrity? Show me what that is. Oh, you're an honorable guy? Okay. Oh, we respect you. Yeah, maybe because we're scared shit of you. But what about your integrity? When it comes down to your integrity, where's that come in? It's gone. You don't have it no more. Everything's just one white wall to you. That's what you see is you, and you. And you ain't gonna let nothing fucking touch you, even if you think it and you know it's not true or whatever. If you catch a delusion.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
it's a fucking sad thing, man.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the guys back in the day if there was such a thing as up there listening here or down, they must be fucking rolling over.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, and like, you know, having power over people and putting fear into people because they're scared of you and making people do things or whatever. It's been reported that, I spoke to you about this in person. As far as the death of Patrick Testa, it's been reported that Gaspipe set that up and may have sent Serino to do it. And I'll preface this by saying that it's been reported outside of the person that I'm going to mention right now, but there is a person, and I'll preface this by saying that the person that said this is an informant, Pete. He is somebody who was in the Luchese family that went bad, as they say. And he claimed to have met Serino, and he claims that Serino told him, like, you think I wanted to do that? I knew him since he was a kid.
I'm telling you.
But what am I going to do? Say no to that guy, that fucking lunatic, so he could kill me?
That's just what it come back. That's right.
And we're talking about the death of this individual right here. Can you tell me something about him?
Patty was a happy-go-lucky guy. Patty was, if it wasn't for cars, Patty would have no life. That was his life, cars. I personally, honest to God, I never heard of Patty doing anything other than making money with cars by them backing him. But he made some serious money. He had some good contacts on Drawland Street. They go to them auctions. He knew what he was doing, man. Patty made good money. He had cars coming in at it. And I'm not saying they were all straight cars. Don't get me wrong. Some of them were done right and made big money with them. But especially make your bones. I never heard of Patty making his bones. Some people today in this world of ours, bones is in dollar signs today,
Right.
They equal dollar signs to bones.
Right.
How do you flip that whole script like that? I don't understand. That's why, guys.
Well, it's the nature of the world, Pete. I mean, you can't get away with shit, The last time that there was a sanctioned mob hit was, I believe, often they say in 2013. I don't know if you remember the East Harlem Purple Gang, a guy by the name of Michael Meldish.
I remember the Purple Gang. That was Eddie's hang out there.
Yeah, I'm sure Rendini probably had connects with them. Yeah, well, he was murdered. He was murdered in the Bronx. Matty Madonna went to prison for life for that homicide.
That was he got me 5 years off my sentence, that son of a bitch.
Who, Matty?
He was in prison with Lewisburg, right? He used to be he talk like this all the time. He worked alone. I said, Matty. He said, Petey. We used to play peanut together. Me, him, Jimmy, Jimmy Burke. I forgot Bobby something was the other guy's name. And Matty, right?
I mean, Matty was in prison most of his fucking life, right?
Oh yeah, but him and the little guy, fuck's his name? Little Jewish guy was a big Howard, big time. He had life too with Matty. They ran.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I know. Man, his name's escaping me.
Yeah. So anyhow, he's across the hall one day. He was across from me in the cell. He said, Petey. I said, what, Matty? He says,
Herbie Sperling?
Huh?
Herbie Sperling?
Yeah, it's Herbie Sperling. That's it.
There you go.
Herbie was a tough little shit, too.
Yeah.
So he goes, hey, Petey, let me see your paperwork. What, Matty? He says, let me see the paperwork. Why you talk like that, Smoke around with the Avantis all the time. I said, all right, Matty. When the cop comes by, tell him to give me your papers. All right. So the cop comes by. I give him my papers, right? So next morning, he said, breakfast. He says, I got something for you. I said, what do you got? He said, I got 5 years off your sentence. Whatever you say, right? So you don't believe me, do you? I says, man, did I say that? He says, well, I hear you say thank you. Well, when it happens, I'll thank you. Believe me, I will. About a week later, he sent these papers into the court. Because the judge didn't specifically say consecutive, it ran concurrent. And he gave me 5 years for sentence. Not even
So this was in the early 2000s?
This is when I was in Lewisburg with him, yeah.
Was this because in the 2000s, you got like a 10-year sentence for cocaine trafficking. Is that correct?
Right. It had to be, I was in Lewisburg. When Jimmy Burke was in Lewisburg, I was in Lewisburg.
So that was the 90s. So yeah, I think Burke died in like 96 or 97 or something like that. So that must have been.
He died right after he left the feds. He went to the state. That fucking rat kid, man. But anyhow, Matty Madonna. He's a fucking Matty.
Wow.
That's how he thought. Matty, what, Matty? Could you make me some coffee? Yeah, man, I got you.
I gotta ask you something, Pete. When you're in prison with these guys, right? And they say things like, "Let me see your paperwork," or "Oh, you're Pete LaFrosia," or this and that. Do they say anything to you like, You were with that fucking lunatic over there, the Gemini, weren't you, huh, Pete? What about? Did they ever say anything like that? Did that ever come back to haunt you?
They really never said anything like that. They used to say, "So you with that crew, eh? What a scary life that was." You know what I mean?
Oh, okay,
But
interesting.
you know, but they knew everybody that was an informant or a big snitch.
Right.
Let me tell you how this worked. They used to come in. The bus loads used to come in, right? And all the paperwork used to go to the captain's office, right? Then he used to have a guy that cleaned up the captain's office, one of the inmates, right? He was close to everybody, right? So he'd be on the payroll, and so was the guy that the captain, right? So the captain used to look through the files, right? The ones that he was supposed to put away at the special spot, tell you who these guys were. He'd leave them on the corner of the desk on the opposite side. So this kid would come in that night, right there. Next morning, the captain would put him in the file, and everybody knew who the fuck they knew who everybody was, man. Tell me, I'm no bullshit.
Wow. Crazy.
But Maddie, yeah, Herbie Sperling and Maddie walk around with them cigars all day long.
Interesting stuff, man.
I'm telling you, if I didn't meet the who's of this shit, for whatever reason, when we were on trial with Paul, right? They had the Pizza Connection, they had the commission guys, they had who the fuck? We were all stayed in the marshal's office, all of us, We ate there, we sat there, and I got to meet the guys from the Pizza Connection, the old man, the bosses from Italy.
Yeah,
it was a fucking trip. I mean, you met everybody,
There it is right there. October 16th, 1985. That's your best friend, Willie Kampf, on the stand.
Piece of shit.
They got Anthony Center, Reno Gaggi, Paul Castellano, and Pete the Pig, La Ferocia. There you go. You see, I have all these fancy things loaded up, Pete, just in case you mention something I could bring.
Yeah, like I said, that was like, I met them all, man. I met the Colombo boy. I met them all,
Yeah.
Paul Vario. He used to convince me all the time. I met him in West Street when he was in there with fucking.
Who was that?
Paul Vario. We were in there.
Paul Vario.
In the old West Street, right? I used to be the guy that worked in the kitchen. So I used to bring the carts up, right? So the cart had a false bottom. That's where the steaks be hidden and the shit. I bring it up every time. What do you got for me today? What'd you order? A steak, 6 of them. I said, what the fuck am I gonna tell you?
Yeah.
He'd be there, he'd be this, slicing that garlic. He'd be there. He'd be like fucking obsessed. He'd slice that thing. You couldn't. It was like pubic hair thin.
But you knew him actually on the streets. I mean, even before that. I mean, that's well documented. I mean, his son, you were good friends with his son, Paul Jr.
Yeah.
Right?
I know Gefkins. Yeah.
How about this, Pete? How about this? Since you brought up Vario, what do you think about this?
During the 1970s, Canarsie was the city's car crime epicenter.
Look at that.
It was infamous for its body shops, garages, and salvage yards.
Look at that. Bargain Auto, Pete. Avenue D, Canarsie. What do you think about that? How many times have you been in there?
Oh, as many times as that rat Willie Camp said that. When we pulled up,
That's right. Willie Camp said, yeah.
We pulled up to the rod, and Paul, I had a gold elephant on my neck, right? I don't know where the fuck I got it from. Boy, he said, wow, I really like that elephant, Pete. I took it off. I get it's your present, Paulie. He said, nah. He said, what do you want? I said, I don't want nothing. Now, when I was on trial, he sent some guys in there to make sure what was being said. Listen, his name was going to come up. So when I came home, they called me down. And he said, I liked you for the elephant, but I like you even better now. I said, well, thank you. Right. He said, what am I going to tell you? Yeah.
What I don't recall. I mean, what exactly did Cam say? I forgot exactly. What did he say in reference to you and Paulie Vario? Here he is. Okay, court sketch. Willie Camp. That's him on the stand.
Close connections with Paul. He was trying to bring up all the dirt because they were trying to say about that he was the first guy that said that I killed John and
Sherry,
right? And he ran to Florida, and they came and got him. They scared him. They told him that if you don't testify, we're going to charge you with this homicide in New York. Now his confidential that he reported to was a cop, Norman Blau, right? So I got to meet him. And he was a straight up guy, he needed tires for his truck. I got him, Pete, I said, it's all right. So we're on trial now, and he's up there trying to make it seem like, well, Petey told me he did this, Petey told me he did that, right? Now, you got to remember this now. They charged me with double homicide. That's 50 years of my life, right? I'm sitting with my wife, my girl, and my mom, right? Oh, she was there. And I'm saying, what the fuck, man? And then he comes on the stand. And he says, yeah. P. Oh, yeah, he's very close with Paul Varry. He's in with the mob guys, really tight. You know, he does a lot of things for him. I'm saying, so what the fuck, right? And so now it's coming like recess, right? So we go downstairs, right? Now I'm freaking out, man. They got him telling this guy telling that. I'm saying, this is bad. This is very bad. You know, I'm not too cool with this shit.
Yeah,
so
he's dragging them big shots now. He's playing real games
yeah,
now.
so now I'm saying they got to convict me. You know, even I did. I got to wind up going to an appeal. But who the fuck wants to go to state joint, right? So I got that. So we're having lunch with my mother, me, and the girl, right? So also I just put my fork down and go, oh, I kiss my mother, kiss my girl, start walking away. I was, what are you doing? I said, you think I'm going back up there? You're fucking crazy. I don't even know why they let me come down. Yeah. No, you can't do that. I said, Mom, what do you think? This is bingo? You know, you win, you lose, you go. It's not like that. It's 50. She says, they're not going to convict you. I said, holy shit. What do you got at Crystal? Mom, she said, listen to me. I seen this lady's eyes in the jury. She knows that guy's lying. I'm looking at her. Oh, what are you, a fucking clairvoyant? I'm saying, what's going through my mind? She convinced me to go back up there, right? Then Normie Blau came back on the stand, and he says, that Willie Camp shot himself in the hand because somebody beat him up and he was supposed to go take care of it, but he got scared. He shot himself instead.
Right. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
They scared him into talking like that about LaFrosia. He says, listen, I'm not saying LaFrosia an angel, but I know that Willie built that up because he thought Pete was fucking his girlfriend, Renee. I said, holy shit. And then finally, Joy come out, right? And he acquitted me, right? You know, it's the first time I've been trial for murder, double murder, right? So you know, you get giddy, like, you know, you're like oxygen's like, I don't know what the fuck it is. When something's going through your brain, your body, like, wow, holy shit, you know, in that sense, you know. Yeah. So as I'm walking past coffee, he looks at me.
Coffee.
He says, let me tell you something, LaFrosia. I said, what? He says, we know you didn't do that. I'm looking at him. So what the? He says, it cost you 30 grand to get out of it, though, didn't it? He says, well, it's going to come a time you ain't got that 30 grand. Then you're going to have to come and be with my guys. I said, wow. What guys that? I said, the snitches and bitches? I said, that ain't never happening, man. So he said, but I'm going to tell you something else. Before I get you, I'm going to get that rat bastard, Normie Blau, that fucking cop. Yeah. That's why I told the truth. I said, that's how it works for you guys. And he said, keep your eyes for it. And that's what I left the courtroom. But that's exactly what the fuck he said to me. Tripped me out. Stop me right there. My mother's
Coffee. Dirty Harry himself.
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah. Make my day. I didn't make it your day. I ain't making nothing, motherfucker.
Come on, join Team USA, Pete.
Who?
Team USA.
Yeah, what about it?
They want you to join Team USA. You know, you're going to be with us, with Team USA.
Yeah. I'm going to be with him. Join Team USA.
Yeah. So go ahead.
And then after I got acquitted by a jury, right, of my 12 years, of course, I got charged again in the feds. Yeah. How they said like this. They said, listen, we're not charging you with murder. We're charging you with denying their civil rights. I said, what the fuck is the difference? They're dead. You try to say I killed them for whatever reason. What's better with those 12 people? You got your own 12 people you're putting in and out. I got to know this because I never heard of that in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Pete, listen, it's been over an hour. We talked about a lot of cool things. It's interesting, you know. Sometimes I think, like, you know, oh, Pete, you know, he's 75 years old.
Yay!
He made it through this life. He made it through a lot of things. I'm sure that for other people's protection, maybe they could have gotten rid of you a couple of times or whatever it may be, but for whatever reason, they didn't, you know. Pete, Mr. Mysterious, you know what, Pete? You must have been actually loved because you're still here.
I hate to say it, but the one they call a fucking serial killer of all of them, I know that guy had a spot for me in his heart. He would never ask me to do nothing that was stupid. Never.
Roy DeMeo.
He never sent me on it unless it was for those three reasons. Now, he said, I know, Pete, God forbid, I came home from jail one time, right? First thing they gave me was 2 brand new Smith & Wesson, 15 shots. I said, what's this for? Well, we got a problem. I said, oh yeah? I just came home yesterday. What's the problem? I said, okay.
But like, I mean, listen. Preface this by saying, yeah, we're talking about criminals and criminal stuff, and it's not to be glamorized, but that in itself is pretty interesting, Pete. It just shows that Mr. Serial Killer, Roy DeMeo, or some of the other guys, Harvey Chris Rosenberg, or it just shows that they must have loved you. Yeah, it must have been something good about you, Pete.
Well, Harvey didn't love me because he tried to do me.
He tried to kill you, right?
Yeah, he put the offer on the table, and the other guys that I know love me, that I love them. And I do, guys. There's nothing I wouldn't do for you. They said, no way. And then Roy said, what are you, fucking stupid? Roy, he said, Pete ain't no rat, Chris. Harvey, whatever. I forgot what he called. I wasn't there. He says, how dare you do that? So in other words, if anybody got arrested for homicides or whatever, in other words, we're gonna kill them. Yeah. I said, what kind of crew is that going to be? It's going to be a very, very small crew. I tell you that. Yeah. But yeah, he put that on the table, that son of a bitch.
Fucking guy. Well, yeah. Wow. Well, I'm not surprised to hear that.
I was, and then I thought about it. I said, nah, that's him, that son of a bitch.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy, man. I mean, before we go, obviously, when we started doing this little series, we got news that Joey and Anthony were getting out.
God bless them.
As we sit today, July 6, 2024, they are both, in fact, out. Like, no halfways, none of this, none of that. Out, breathing oxygen, free to walk around and go to Walmart, do whatever they want.
They must be tripping.
Whatever they want, whatever that may be. As bizarre as some people might think that is, I might be one of them. I never saw that one coming. But they are free now.
Free.
Any closing thoughts before we go?
They never deserved what they did to them. They never had any fucking real facts about that, as far as I'm concerned. And they didn't know them. They knew what they heard of them. And I'm telling you, if you knew, say Anthony alone, and your mother's rent was due and you didn't have it, he made sure somehow he got it. If he borrowed from his father, anybody, he made sure that you did. He had a heart of gold, that kid. Now, Joey, he was the lover. Me and Joey were dating the same girls a couple times, but Joey's cool as shit in his own way. Yeah. I never really hung out with Joey that much, what I mean? But Anthony, yeah, I followed Anthony for a while, but I never seen that in him. Now, don't get me wrong. He's a tough guy. I seen a guy get stabbed and still fight. Stabbed in the lung,
Oh yeah. Right? So you didn't hang out with I think we spoke about this before. You were more as far as like hanging out, like, hey, you want to go get something to eat, you want to hang out, you want to go do something. That was more you and Anthony rather than you and Joe.
Yeah, we go to the hamburger, shoot the bullshit,
Right,
and we fuck around with girls together. Right. I used to love Anthony. He used to go to, I forget, Crazy Eddie's electronics place.
Right.
And he used to buy things from Crazy Eddie down there. Nice stuff at the time, right? And he'd come home, right? And his mother even told me one time, she says, Anthony likes to take things in public. He can never figure out how to put them back together, right? So I thought about it. So we used to get mad at the shit, and he used to throw it down in the basement, right? But I had the warranty by then. So everything he threw down in the basement, I used to take the box, pack it back up, bring it back to Crazy Eddie, and I'd get a new one. Eddie, what'd you buy this week?
That sounds like me. I think that's like an ADD thing, like an ADHD thing. Like I get like that too. Like I can't put this fucking thing together. I'll smash it before I even continue.
That was
I do that. Yeah, that's literally like an attention, like a deficit thing. Where
his mother says he's like that since a kid.
Yeah, you can't focus, and you just get so frustrated that you almost just want to break it, or you just put it away, and you don't want to.
Especially when you don't got buy brand new ones in phase, Yeah, like that, yeah. But it was fucking. I said, okay, Anthony. Yeah. I was always trying. Excuse me, friend.
Sure.
I hear it. I don't know where it is. Anyhow, we're gonna wrap it up. I'll find it after.
Yeah. We're gonna get going. Listen, Pete.
Well, like I say, if they're listening, I'm sorry that this happened to these guys, and these are always in my heart. I don't give a fuck what people say. I knew you as people, not as paperwork or somebody saying this about you. And if you had a fight, you fought, but you never fucking was stupid like they think you were. The only serial you guys are is cornflakes. I don't consider you any kind of serial killer. Then again, like I say, I was in jail most of my life, but you guys are still out there. So God only knows, But I believe that. I believe what I believe, and that's it.
Yeah. Hey, listen, that's your opinion about people that you actually knew. Plenty of people will call you names crazy for what you just said. Like, oh, he's fucking nuts. I consider you a friend, and that's how you feel. I mean, what am I to say anything? I mean, I don't. It is what it is.
I don't use that word lightly. You know what I mean? Now you gotta remember, if they did any crazy shit like that, you gotta remember, I've been in jail 22 years.
Yeah.
It's 30 about.
22 years. 22 years. That you'll never get those years back.
What happened in them 22 years is, I don't know. They're always the way when I see them. You know what I mean? Dapper Don is part of their ladies' men.
Well, you did about like 13 of those years when they had already been sentenced to life. So
correct.
You couldn't look at your friends and say, you couldn't stop your bullshit, Pete.
You gotta remember now. They sent me to Florida. Roy sent me to Florida, so I was down there for a long time.
Yeah.
Now I knew things about they did with my dad and shit. Made some money.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, sure, I heard a lot of stories, but are they true? I didn't see nobody shoot nobody. I didn't actually see none of that. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
what I seen, and that's enough. But I never actually seen that. Either one of them. Now, I'm not saying they weren't capable. I'm not saying they didn't, but they can't. I can never say I seen that. They whatever they. You gotta remember, Roy would never send me on those fucking dumb missions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody on Instagram. Instagram with the photos.
I heard of it.
Yeah, it's like social media shit. Instagram. They have these mafia pages or whatever. Where they put up a photo. They put up a photo of a gangster and they tell a biography or whatever.
Well, really?
Yeah, it's a bunch of people that do it. And they put up a picture of you on. They put a picture of you on one of those recently.
Really?
And this guy wrote this whole thing about you, and he refers to you as, at one point, he became one of Roy's trusted hitmen.
Give me a rip.
I was reading it, and I'm like, I was like, all right.
I must have been real good, huh?
Yeah, they're really talking you up on the internet, Pete.
I must have been stealth. Nobody knew what the fuck I was doing. Not even Roy, I guess. But anyhow, I used to have a Doberman like that. When she smiled, everybody thought she was going to bite them. Meanwhile, she was just smiling.
Yeah.
Thank you for making me that Doberman.
Yeah. All right. Well, Pete, listen, this was a lot of fun. I think people are going to enjoy this. I think hopefully everybody gets something out of it. We talked about a lot of interesting things. I enjoyed some of that Fast Eddie talk and some of that stuff. I thought that was really cool.
Great guy. I loved him.
Any final words?
Everybody, leave half of what you hear, the other half of what you see. Then leave the 10% for the facts. That's not even equated in there. Listen, I love you all. And here I am. Here, wearing my plaid shirt. See that, guys?
Yeah. The lumberjack is back.
Oh, yeah, lumberjack. Yeah.
The lumberjack is back.
If you need a picture in your house, let me know. I'm a handyman.
Oh, do I have a picture of the mugshot, Mr. Lumberjack, over here? No, I don't have it. Pete the Lumberjack.
Yeah, Pete came home looking like a lumberjack. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Dominic. He said that about you.
Oh, really? Dominic. Oh, yeah.
This lumberjack looking guy.
Boy, if snitches got stitches like they used to be, these guys be stitched from bottom to bottom of their feet to their neck. Snitches get stitches. Yeah.
Funny stuff, Pete. All right. Well, thanks, man. Hang out for a second. I'm going to end this. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, listening, however you're consuming this content. This has been The Pick, episode 4. Great stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a great week, and leave a like, leave a comment. I've been trying to talk Pete into doing a live stream where you guys can come in and
he's bashful.
Questions live. I'm a little worried. I mean, I know you might be worried about it, but I'm also a little worried about it too. There's a lot of jerk-offs running around the world that want to say stupid things, but we'll talk about it. If you guys want Pete to do that, let us know in the comments, and then maybe I can coerce him into doing it.
Right. And for all those who have stupid questions, you know what they say? Give them stupid answers. My mother said, you argue with somebody stupid, you're only going to be stupid when you're done. You argue with somebody smarter than you, you may learn something.
Right. Yeah.
So
like Forrest Gump's mom, right?
Yeah. As far as you answer stupid questions, you're going to get a stupid answer. What do you think?
Right.
But anyhow, all respect to all yous. I love yous all. Leave a good good, healthy life. I'm 75, and God only knows why I'm here. And I'm sure he's the only one who knows why I'm still here.
Well, you're here to do YouTube. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. Hopefully, really, to help one young man or one young lady not to think that this is a glamorous life, to change their outlook on it and shit. Like I used to say, told, you'd rather shovel shit against the tide for a penny a day than go to prison.
Yeah.
God bless you all.
And you would
Easy.
know, Pete. You would
Look
know.
at you,
All right,
man.
everybody. Thank you so much.